Update: am I the a-hole for threatening to kick out my stepdaughter for stealing from my daughter? Original post. For years ago, my wife passed away due to breast cancer, leaving me, 42 male, and my daughters 19 female and 17 female behind. 1.5 years ago, I met Vicky, 47 female, and we quickly fell in love. Vicky has a daughter Heather, 24 female, and together they came to live with us. Vicky and I did not get married, however, so Heather isn't technically my stepdaughter. Almost from the beginning, Heather wasn't very nice towards me, to say the least. I tried to get to know her and at least establish a cordial relationship, but nothing worked. She was very disrespectful and hateful to me, but also to her mother. Heather also picked verbal fights with my daughters, but I squashed that soon after it happened. Heather was the instigator, and I told her that if she had a problem, she should direct it at me instead of at my daughters. It seemed to work. Last week was my eldest daughter Casey's 19th birthday. I gave her a spa package treatment for 2 persons, $500, in the form of a gift card, and told her she could pick another person to go with. She chose her younger sister, who was happy to go. They would pick a date and make the reservation. Casey wanted to make the reservation 2 days ago, but couldn't find the gift card. After hours of searching, we couldn't find it. When Heather came home, we asked if she had seen it. She told us she didn't. After another hour, Vicky found the gift card in Heather's room, against Heather's protests. After a while, Heather admitted she took the card from Casey's room and went to the spa 2 days ago with her girlfriend. I got angry and told her that if she didn't pay Casey $500, I would kick her out. Since Heather doesn't have a job and has dropped out of college, she says she can't pay it. She has been living at my house rent-free with everything paid for. I told her if she can't pay for it, she should go live with her deadbeat father instead. She called me every name in the book and locked herself in her room. Vicky says it was an a-hole move since she has nowhere to go and her father won't pay for her to live with him. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She just stole $500. That's insane. Tell her to get a job to pay it back, or she can deal with it with the police. And good grief, why is the 24-year-old living in the house without paying rent? Is she contributing in other ways? Cleaning? Cooking? No job, no further education. What does she do all day other than pick on 2 girls younger than her and steal from them? You and your partner suck for that. Edit: wonder who the friend was she took to the spa. Wonder if it was Vicky. This whole thing is bonkers to me. For a woman to move in with him and bring a 24-year-old adult child to live there too is just nuts. Secondly, the minute this fully grown adult started talking bad to me, she would be out. And third, if Vicky is taking up for her daughter's behavior, she'd be out too. Opie needs to ask them both to move out and take back his home. That makes Opie the a-hole. Why on earth would you allow a hostile, unpleasant person to move into the home you share with your teenage daughters? Because her mother is sleeping with you? He prioritized his new relationship over his daughter's well-being. I mean, this is the hill to die on. Your priorities need to be your kids, and you are allowing a stressful and hostile living situation. Vicky needs to know either Heather goes or you can no longer live together. Not the a-hole. This reminds me of that guy whose stepdaughter stole a lot of money from his son. But then the wife takes the daughter's side instead of punishing her in any way. I think he did end up pressing charges after a while, and he and his son moved across the state after selling their house. So he ended up doing the last half of his senior year of high school at a new school. It was a really frustrating story, but ultimately, it turned out good. So she told you she didn't like your daughters. Your daughter went into a lot of effort to cook for the family that she refused to touch, and she called your daughter a witch. And you let her stay? You're the a-hole for letting her treat your daughters like crap, and not kicking her out for it the first time. Is your relationship with her and her mom more important than your relationship with your daughters? Of course my daughters are way more important. I guess I was just desensitized to it with regard to this particular situation. Because neither Vicky nor Heather can cook, I always cook after work. And Heather never touched the food I make either. Not the a-hole. So is Vicky going to pay the $500? She's the mom who is defending her thief daughter. You need to take a very hard look at this whole relationship. Vicky has been a stay-at-home mom since her daughter was born. Vicky doesn't have a job. Her ex was ordered to pay alimony and child support, but he has never paid. And yes, I am looking at Vicky in a new light now. This is concerning. Update. Quite some people have been asking for an update. Considering it's been a rough week and only now are things calming down, I thought I'd write an update. I sat down with my daughters and had a long conversation about Heather, my relationship with Vicky, and how I'd let it go up to this point. In short, my daughters have for a long time hated Heather. They didn't have many problems with Vicky, only regarding how Vicky always lets Heather easy off the hook. I read many comments, and I started doubting my relationship with Vicky. I knew it wasn't perfect, but thought we loved each other. My daughters are of the opinion that Vicky never loved me, but that I also never really loved Vicky. Especially Casey thought it was more companionship that we shared, and that I was lonely. Damn, my daughter hit the nail on the head. She was right. I didn't want to spoil my daughter's day to the spa, and just paid for it so that they could still go. They went a few days ago and had a blast. Regarding Heather, I essentially kicked her out. Vicky threatened to leave if I kicked Heather out, and I told Vicky she was free to go too. After that, she quickly backpedaled and told me she didn't want to go. Heather made a fuss, but I let her take her stuff and she moved out within 2 days. She is temporarily staying at a girlfriend of hers. I told Vicky that if Heather didn't pay the $500 back, we were going to call the police and report her. Vicky was horrified and called her parents. I was surprised by this, because Vicky told me she had a bad relationship with her parents. As far as I know, her parents gave her the $500 and she gave the $500 to me. After this, I was about to have a difficult conversation with Vicky and wanted to tell her we are over. But she beat me to it. She told me that I treated Heather horribly because I was threatening to call the police, and she couldn't live with that. I was relieved, and it probably showed, prompting Vicky to call me out, asking if I was going to try to make it up to her and convince her to stay. I told her no. After this, and a lot of screaming on Vicky's part, she also left. She is staying with a married couple that are close friends with her. It took a bit more time and energy to move her stuff to her friend's house. While I was there helping to move her stuff, I was essentially ignored, so I have no idea what Vicky told them. Today is the first day of peace and quiet in my house, and I already noticed that my daughters are a lot happier. That's all that matters to me. I want to thank everyone for their posts and weighing in. So if Vicky hasn't worked for 24 years, and the ex hasn't paid alimony or child support, and Vicky has a poor relationship with her parents, how did she pay rent, car, food, etc. before she met Opie? I think the Heather apple didn't fall far from the Vicky tree, and there's a lot of lying going on. Good thing they weren't married. I doubt the ex is the deadbeat Vicky claimed. I remember there was a thread where a dude was told the ex of his girlfriend slash fiancé slash wife didn't pay up what he owed her. But surprise, he actually did and had never missed a payment. She lied to get more money out of that poster. My boyfriend's dad's ex-girlfriend did the same thing. Lied to his dad for months that her kid's dad wasn't paying child support. He missed 1 month due to work issues and promptly made it back the next month. But she lied and said he just stopped paying altogether. My boyfriend's dad paid for everything for kids that weren't even his. 4 months. It killed him financially. By the time they finally broke up, all his credit cards were maxed out and he was in the negative in his bank account because she paid for nothing. Now she's living in a house they bought together because she threatened to break up with him if he didn't put her name on the deed. Surprise, surprise, it's only his name on the mortgage. She gaslit and manipulated the heck out of him. It was awful. The financial, mental, and emotional abuse she put him through was astounding, and she just got away with it. Checked Opie's comments, and it turns out they went directly from living with Vicky's last boyfriend to Opie. So Opie was dating her while she was living with and freeloading off of her ex, and he didn't see a red flag? LMAO. Opie, if you're reading this, hopefully you've learned that you don't have the best judgment and should wait to get approval from your 2 daughters before letting a new girlfriend move in with you. They know what's best for you. Also has been a stay-at-home mom for 24 years and still have not learned to cook? What does she do with her time? Look for men to pay her in her daughter's way. Full-time job, I'll bet. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend over my cousin's wedding? So I, 24 male, had been with my 24 female girlfriend for over 2 years. We've had some fights, but it's been fairly solid throughout those years. This was going to be an important year for us. She was graduating for college, I already did the year before, and we were going to be moving in together once she started working and could afford to split rent with me. I currently live with roommates. It was also a big year for my cousin, we'll call him Doug, 24 male. Now, Doug is basically the closest thing I had to a brother growing up. We were only a month apart, and we grew up about 2 miles from each other. We spent every summer just bouncing back and forth between our two houses. We got in lots of trouble, but we always had each other's backs. We were basically inseparable from birth until about middle school. We grew apart a bit as we got older, different friend groups, and very different interests. It wasn't intentional, but we still love each other very much and would do anything for the other. Well, Doug got married this year. My girlfriend was very excited about this, as it would be her first chance to meet a lot of my extended family. I was super excited to introduce her as well. I remember they sent out to save the dates, in like September or something. But I'm pretty bad with dates, so I don't remember. Anyway, fast forward to spring, and my girlfriend tells me about her graduation plans that her and her family have come up with. They were going to start the day at a nice restaurant with her extended family, and then go to the ceremony after, and everyone would leave from there. Sounded great, until I made the horrible realization that her graduation day was the same day as my cousin's wedding. I started panicking. I didn't want to miss either one, so what was I going to do? The wedding venue was about an hour from the college campus. I looked at the timelines for everything, and I realized I could make it work if I left right after the wedding ceremony and went straight to the graduation ceremony. Essentially missing both parties. Super bummer, but being there for the important events. I explained the situation to my girlfriend and told her how upset I was, but that I would still be able to make both. I asked if it was possible to move her party to after the graduation so I could still meet her family. At least this way one of us could. I also asked if she could be with me at the ceremony if we did this. I just didn't know how early she had to be at the campus and lined up and all that. Well, she got crazy upset at me for this. She said she was crushed that I didn't choose her, and said how it was impossible for them to move the party because one of her relatives wasn't able to stay out late, and they already had a reservation at this restaurant, etc., etc. She kept saying how important this party was to her, and how she's disappointed at me for missing it. This went on for a good solid 15 minutes, where I was trying to come up with solutions, and she was trying to tell me that skipping my cousin's wedding entirely should have been an option, and that I wasn't making her the priority in my life. At that point, I freaking raged. I've literally never yelled at her once, but this time I couldn't help it. I was so angry. I told her off. I told her how selfish she was being. I told her she shouldn't put this on me, as I was trying to make the best of a bad situation. I told her my family would literally never make me choose, and if they did, they would probably tell me not to choose them, and that I didn't want to be with someone who wasn't able to say that. I grabbed what little things I had at her place, stormed out, blocked her number, and haven't talked to her since. That day, I packed up everything she had at my place and mailed it back to her. We live like 40 minutes apart, and I didn't want to drive back. Then I took myself off socials, deleted my own accounts. I had actually been wanting to do that for a while anyway, so this seemed like a good excuse to pull the trigger. I enjoyed my cousin's wedding, and by the way, at the wedding my aunt, Doug's mom, told me when she found out the situation from my mom, that she literally went and tried to move the date of the wedding for me. They weren't able to do it because the venue was really strict. She actually apologized to me and said she felt bad she couldn't do it. I told her that would have been insane to move the date for 200 people just for me. I couldn't believe they even considered that, but it solidified in my mind that I made the right choice. So why am I making this post? Because my now ex-girlfriend has turned most of our mutual friends against me. To be fair, they were mostly her friends first. I keep getting texts from them saying how much of an a-hole I was, that I didn't even show up for her graduation ceremony, and that apparently she was going to apologize, but I didn't give her a chance. And that apparently she just wanted me to say I would choose her party over my cousin's wedding, and then she'd tell me not to do that. Also, I've been called a bully and a verbal abuser by 2 of these people for how I yelled at her, and that she was scared to see me. This is BS. I'm the most passive guy on the planet. She's just never seen me actually mad before, because it takes a lot to make me mad. One of them sent me a text saying they were at a bar dancing with guys way cuter than me, and that I missed my shot. I just wanted to stop. Edit about the rage. I just want to clarify something. I probably should have made this clearer. But when I said I raged for my standards. Did I yell? Yes. Was I screaming? No. She's risen her voice to me like this almost every time we had a fight. I'm generally the calm one in an argument. I never called her names other than selfish. I never got even remotely physical nor physically intimidating. In fact, I was trying to keep as much distance from her as I could. I mostly just wanted to get out of there. Should I have gone so nuclear? Probably not, but she did still have ways to reach me. She could have emailed me. She could have called me at work. She could have come to my apartment. She could have texted me through a mutual friend. Heck, she could have written me an actual letter. What I didn't want was the 10-page long texts at 3 a.m. and me constantly staring at my phone waiting for it to vibrate. I was angry, but I felt, and still feel, like I was justified. And I wasn't going to be the first person to break the stalemate. I figured if she actually cared, she'd find a way. I never got any texts from her friends until after the graduation, which makes me think she was still expecting me to show up, especially the one that said she couldn't believe I didn't go to the ceremony. But yes, I should have handled all of this better. I let pride and anger possibly ruin a good thing. I don't know. I'm still dealing with this. I go back and forth between thinking I dodged a bullet and thinking I shot myself in the foot. I am not a perfect person, but I know I'm not abusive. Apparently she just wanted me to say I would choose her party over my cousin's wedding, and then she'd tell me not to do that. Oh hell no. I'll take things that never happened for $1,000, Alex. What a liar pants on fire. She 100% was asking you to choose her over your family. She just doesn't want to own it because it exposes her as the narcissist she is. Even if you suspend disbelief, lobotomize yourself, and trust her, she comes off no better. Playing games is ridiculously childish and immature. Your mutual friends are not your friends. No one needs friends like that. Drop them like a bad habit, not the a-hole. A friend of hers communicated that she would have allowed him to go after capitulation. That was the "you should feel guilty" scenario. Reality at best would have been, "I can't believe you went and abandoned me." Good on Opie for slamming the door hard. Makes crawlbacks on either side really tough. Since when does he need her permission? Plus, he accepted the wedding invite first. She sounds like a real piece of work, and I think he really dodged a bullet.